Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. You can see we got Mike and Luke's truck up here still. This will probably be the last video that we do on this truck unless it comes back for something else. We did mention that it may need injectors, so we're going to put some miles on it and see if the issue is the actual injectors. These engines can lose compression over time, the 7.3s. I've seen where they sit for a long period of time and you do a compression check on them and they have a low compression. So I'm going to have him put about 3,000 miles on it and see if the injectors are the problem. Because if it is a compression issue where the rings aren't really seated as good as they should be, then it will come back to life. I've seen that numerous times with these engines. So, you know, if you run them for a while after they've sat, they will come back to life. It kind of doesn't really make it as bad as this truck was looking when it started. And, you know, we're going to try to make sure that the injectors are the problem, because if we are going to do a set of injectors in this, we'll be doing probably a set of stage ones and then also a tune, because as you go to stage ones with a Super Duty, you go from a split shot to a single shot injector, so you need custom tunes to run them. You can't just drop a set of stage ones in and then run it on the factory tuning. It will be very unhappy. But we're going to let him drive it for a while, but we're going to go ahead and do a quick overview of this. Show you some of the stuff that we did underneath the truck. It's not real crazy, but it's something that you could do for yourself. Just keep in mind that this truck is a four-wheel drive super cab long bed. So this is not your typical crew cab short bed truck that everybody wants to have and everybody runs. So this is a super cab long bed. So it's a little bit of an oddball, so to speak, in the Super Duty world. In the OBS world, a super cab long bed is extremely common. However, in the Super Duty world and newer, you see a lot more crew cab short beds, a lot less super cabs, a lot less long beds. So this is kind of like the in-between of the generation change there. So we'll go ahead, grab the camera here. We're going to show you everything that we completed on this. As you can see, that the front tires are back on, so we got the wheels put back on and all the brakes and everything. So we're going to go ahead and go over everything and show you what some of the stuff that they purchased was, and hopefully it'll last in the long run. So we'll start up front here. You can see that we are running new rotors and we have new steering linkage here. The steering linkage, I do believe he got off of the internet. I'm not sure if it's Detroit axle or not. However, this is a problem that I see a lot, and you can see that the cotter key doesn't exactly fit into the castle nut there. So we still put it in because, you know, it needs to be in there. Hopefully that won't cause any issues for him down the road. Now, this side is like that, and this side is also like that. And you can't see the back side of this one, but it's not as bad. And the one up here is not as bad either. So that's something that we ran into installing all this. And like I said, he bought all this stuff online. I'm not positive where he got it. I want to say that he got it from Detroit Axle, but he may have gotten it from, say, a website like Parts Geek. So not real sure. However, you know, all this stuff came from online sources. I know it's not a Moog. I know it's not OEM. There's no branding on it anywhere. There's a couple little part numbers stamped into it. They may even be a Moog knockoff, which I've seen many times before. However, we still have the kicker here to keep the adjustment from moving. We anti-seized all of the threads here. You can see that the threads are anti-seized up here. Your alignment guy will love you if you do that, because he might get a little greasy, but everything will turn. So that's something that you can always do with your steering stuff. So always put a little bit of anti-seize on those threads to keep them from galling up and not being able to turn, and saving yourself some money down the road. He also replaced the track bar here, and I do know that that is a Moog product. We ended up getting that installed, and you can see it's up here. Did torque these down, and the torque spec on those bolts is 369 foot-pounds, so made sure we got those torqued down to spec. And then none of the ball joints were bad on this truck, which was great, so didn't have to change those. It does look like they had been changed before because they do have the grease zerks in them. And then we ended up replacing the wheel bearing on this side. He did purchase a unit bearing from an online retailer, something like Parts Geek or whatever. Not real sure where he got it. However, when he bought it, didn't come with studs, didn't come with nuts for the bearing, also did not come with the seal that goes inside the bearing to seal it up for the vacuum. So just because you're buying something and it's a good price doesn't mean it's a good part. So always keep that in mind. He ended up going to a local parts store and got everything there, and it's a quality unit. So he's gonna start doing that a little more often, I think. We also have all new transmission lines up here. These are a Dorman brand or Sunsong, I do believe, one or the other. However, they do fit pretty well. No complaints about it. They go into the factory locations, which is great. And you can see the inline tube brake line here running across. No other issues under here. And we did mention in the other video that we are running the newer style cooler. You can see that it uses 1/2-inch lines. So we did have to adapt from 1/2 to 3/8. So you want to make sure that you have the ability to adapt down if you're going to a larger, newer style transmission cooler. So we did do that with this. Coming around, you can see that we've gotten everything installed over here. The battery box is in, all new AC components, and then the bushings there, the polyurethane bushings. We've also done new hubs on the front of this. I do believe these are an off-brand hub. I'm pretty sure that you'll eventually need vice grips to turn these because it's just notorious for these 99-04 axles. But in the meantime, they're going to work just like they should. He decided to keep the vacuum assisted auto locking hubs, so I know he'll be happy with those. We also replaced the steering box bolts because the old ones, when we pulled them out, they were very, very thin in the middle, which is very common for these. So we ended up replacing those as well. Something to keep in mind whenever you're doing a steering box swap is you need to make sure that the bolts that you're taking out are in good condition and able to be reused. So underneath here, you can see we have a brand new drive shaft. The local shop that we use told him that he could run a 1-piece shaft instead of a 2-piece. And the bracket for the 2-piece used to be somewhere in this neighborhood here on this cross member. However, the old drive shaft was pretty rotted. It was pretty hammered up. And the cost savings to do this 1-piece drive shaft was cheaper than doing a rebuild on the 2-piece because it was going to need a lot of stuff due to the rust that was happening to it. So if you guys got a truck that's this length and you're 4-wheel drive, you can definitely do a 1-piece shaft. You don't have to do the 2-piece. This should eliminate some vibrations that you may have. So that's definitely an upgrade for you guys if you are able to do this. And this is upgraded to a 1480 U-joint. So we are no longer running the 1410s in the rear of this truck. They are 1480s. So they are a lot stronger, which is great. Back here, new e-brake cables, new sway bar end links, a lot of new stuff. All the wear components have been replaced. New rotors on the back, new pads. None of the calipers needed to be replaced on this truck, which is crazy to me because the 99 and up trucks are notorious for issues with calipers. But no big deal for that. That's great that we don't have to replace those. We have a new transmission mount here. The studs broke off of the old one, so they had to replace that. And then you can come up here and see the new shackles and new sway bar end links. We are waiting for the sway bar bushings to arrive. These ones are a 32 millimeter, whereas this bar is a 26 or 27 millimeter. So we are waiting for those to come in. They should be here in the next day or two. But that'll be the end of additions to this truck. Once again, we didn't have to replace any calipers on the front, which is great. However, we are still running, the stainless brake lines on everything. And you can see those under here a little bit around all of the other stuff here. So we have, the brake line runs down and along here. My only complaint about the stainless brake lines from inline is the fact that they put this little guy right there, right where you can't really get to it because there's a transfer case in the way. So it would have been nice to have that somewhere else. So if they could have put it back here, that would have been so much easier to work on. but nothing gained, nothing lost on that. You can see that this cab is really, really clean on this truck. They did a lot of work to it to make it nice again, so that's a plus. So that's really nice to have a nice rust-free truck. So hopefully this truck will last a very, very long time for them. Hopefully get another 100,000 out of it, I would assume, at least, being it is a 7.3. However, you can see that we still don't have an interior in here. The guys that own this truck are going to go ahead and finish putting this truck back together, get the doors installed, get the interior installed. They're still unsure of what they're going to use for a bed. They're torn between a flatbed and a dually bed, but this truck is pretty much ready to go, short of the sway bar bushings. So hopefully we'll get those here in the next day or so, and get them put in, and this truck will be ready to go back to its home. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the small little process that we did on this truck. It was nice to get an engine here and just refresh it, something simple, something that was, easy to do for me. And then also he gives me the frame here and gets it, says, hey, put it back together, get it running, we can finish it off. And I was perfectly okay with that. So we have the place here to do it. So it was nice to be able to do it for them. But hopefully we'll have some more stuff for you guys here eventually. Keep stuff moving, flowing through the shop here. So thanks for watching. I really appreciate you guys following me, hitting the subscribe button, and we'll try to keep making these videos for you guys. Thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one.